now to bring in Senator Marsha Blackburn of Tennessee, member of the Senate Judiciary Committee, the Veterans Affairs Committee, and the Finance Committee. You are also running for governor of the great state of Tennessee. Welcome, and it's good to have you. That is incredible. Your colleagues there, you've got Kelly, you've got Slotkin. Why do you think they are using a video message like this to incite what some say is really a seditious behavior with members of the military?
And one thing we know is that members of the military are there to execute their mission. They are there to carry out their orders. And what we have is a group of elected officials who, I agree with Pete Hegseth, Secretary Hegseth, on this. They have stage 4 Trump derangement syndrome. And they cannot, they're so power hungry, Bianca. And the fact that they do not control the House, the Senate, the White House, they are really so very frustrated. And I think that's because the American people have said, we don't agree with you. Your party has gone so left. You have gone so woke. You are so out of touch. And the party would tell them, oh, the economy is great, when people knew 9.1% inflation was not great. They would say, oh, our border is secure. And people could go online and watch the videos of thousands of people per day coming in the country.
That's right.
Yeah.
It is incredible for them to talk like this. And, they're not hiding this at all. This is not a covert video. They are trying to send a message. And there's other sitting members of Congress who have done the same with ICE, Senator Blackburn. We have some interesting video of someone that they're highlighting who is caught on the fence as well. We'll show that in a minute. But now we're hearing about how the Border Patrol is finding the illegals that are everywhere in our country, as you alluded to, thanks to Joe Biden's open borders. They've been monitoring American drivers. There's a network of cameras. It scans and records licenses, algorithms. Local law enforcement may then get deployed to access the driver. So this has never been really given a lot of publicity. So now we're learning about this. And, what else can they do? These truck drivers that have no English-speaking language skills are on our roads and big rigs. I know that the left will make an example out of this, but, we have people like this who continue. You don't want to come in legally. You're going to get stuck on a fence. So between that and between your state, National Guard, judge saying, in Memphis, you can't bring in the National Guard. There is a lot of people with the resistance on the left here, sitting members of Congress and also the people in these local law enforcement cities, Senator.
Yes, indeed, Bianca, you're right about that. You have activist judges, as in the case of Tennessee, that is trying to block the National Guard from working with the Memphis Safe Task Force. This is a city where 63% of the individuals in the city support having the Memphis Safe Task Force. That's a pretty good majority there. You have these elected officials who are saying to people, defy the rule of law. And what we have is ICE, DHS, you have local law enforcement. They're trying to enforce the rule of law. And they want to get people who are criminal, illegal aliens out of the country. They want to get people who have orders of deportation against them because they didn't show up for their hearing, or maybe they committed a crime and they need to be deported. And you have these leftists that are putting lawbreakers in front of law-abiding citizens. Imagine that. They're trying to defend the lawbreakers. Yes.
Every single day we get another example of that, too, in another American city. I want to ask you about what needs to happen with the investigation with the would-be assassin, Thomas Crooks, Senator Blackburn. There's been a lot now coming out about the FBI's investigation. There's a new report, and two House Republicans Mike Kelly, Pat Fallon involved in the congressional probe, now saying the FBI stonewalled their investigation. They withheld evidence. That's the allegation about his online activity. And some of the online activity with Crooks is 1 minute he's a Trump fan, and then all of a sudden there's a 180 here. There's concern about whether or not he was radicalized online. And the bigger concern is, how do you trust the FBI? Americans want answers. This man almost took President Trump's life. We all watched in horror that day in Butler. If he had not turned his head just a slight centimeter. Your reaction to what needs to happen now on this, because clearly there's a lot we don't know.
And what we do know is that with DOJ and FBI, there is definitely a deep state. The Secret Service, a deep state. Fortunately, you've got A.G. Bondi and Kash Patel and Secretary Noem who are ridding the deep state out of these agencies. And we do need answers. This investigation of Butler, Pennsylvania needs to start over, both for the FBI and the Secret Service. Why was the FBI stonewalling releasing that information? Why are we just now getting it? Why did it take FOIA request to get this information? Those are the things that the American people want to know, and they want to make certain that we get rid of the deep state, because whether it is what was done to President Trump and his family, or Jack Smith, or Arctic Frost, all of this, every bit of this, needs to be dealt with. People that committed these crimes need to be prosecuted, and you've got a lot of them that ought to end up in jail.
Senator Blackburn, it's always a pleasure to have you. And clearly, we're tracking these big stories as we know they move through, potentially more ramifications as we hear members of Congress as well. Thank you for your time, as always.
Thank you.